Yo, what is going on, guys? It has been a while since I've done this series. What happened to all these Pokemon that got banned? And what would happen if they were back in the metagame, all that good stuff. So I haven't done one on Darkrai yet, and I said I was going to do this. In fact, the whole reason I did the video on Aegislash is because I wanted to do the video on Darkrai, and then I figured I'd just do, Aegislash, Blaziken, Darkrai, etc, etc. But we're finally here with Darkrai. Pretty cool pick. Pokemon that hasn't been seen in OU in what, like almost 10 years now. So figured it'd be a good one to talk about. It's like people don't really think about this Pokemon too much, but before we get into that, of course, the agency merchandise is still available until August 20th, so go check that out. Hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeves, tank tops. Don't be a kid, be an agent. The link is down below the description. Go cop you something, tell me what you got, all that good stuff, and let's hop into the video for today. So Darkrai. So Darkrai, last time this thing was ever in OU, I think they had it in Black and White 1 for like a couple weeks maybe before it got banned, because Darkrai usually just gets instantly banned. It's always been seen as just a little too powerful. Looking at its stats right here, you can see that like its special attack is very high, its speed's very high, its defenses are not great, but they're not bad. Base 90 and defense and base 90 SPDF isn't too bad. It's like decent. It's like Keldeo level. The HP is kind of low, but in general, Darkrai is able to take like a neutral hit. It's not going to be taking like Draco Meteors and stuff like that, but it's not going to die in one hit to like an Earthquake or a U-turn or something like that. But anyway, yeah, that's the defensive spread. Offensively, it's very strong. It's stronger than it's stronger than regular Greninja, and it's faster than regular Greninja, which is something to think about. But it actually does get some competition from Ashgren, which is not only faster but also stronger, and also has to only rely on its dual stab because it gets water type stab as well. Darkrai only gets dark stab. But here are 4 sets that I figured would be viable if we were to try out this Pokemon in this metagame. So this is the first set, Nasty Plot 3 attack. I thought about what item to give this thing, and I decided we could just do Darkinium Z, but there's a bunch of different ones you could run. So a set like this is just meant to really wall break or even sweep versus a slower team. I bet if you ran this on a team with Sticky Web, it would destroy the metagame for real, because nothing is faster than Darkrai, especially once you decrease everything's speed. What Scarfer runs more than 383 speed? So in general, I feel like if you ran this on a Sticky Web team, it would be very hard to handle Darkrai. I mean, yeah, you could have Scarf Landorus or something like that that could always outspeed and U-turn, but that thing can't KO without explosion. And so Darkrai, that could end up being a big threat. I gave it Darkinium Z because I figured Dark Pulse is a pretty low base power stab. You're going to need +2 to kill things like, Heatran, Celesteela, stuff like that. But you could very well run Fightinium Z as well and have a very accurate Focus Blast. That's going to be able to hit Magearna harder. +2 is going to probably destroy Celesteela. It's going to for sure destroy Heatran and T-Tar. So Z Focus Blast isn't a bad idea at all on Darkrai, because you're probably going to be able to get rid of the steel types a lot easier. You don't have to worry about missing. You're also able to snipe opposing dark types, opposing Darkrai with a accurate move. That's a big thing. That's a big reason I like Z Focus Blast, because it's a very high powered fighting move that it won't miss. It's not like Focus Blast, right? So it's great. And then Sludge Bomb is what I put as the last move, because you need something to deal with the fairy types. Dark Pulse and Focus Blast are both resisted by fairy type Pokemon, so of course we don't want to run into a problem with that. Get rid of all the Tapus, Clefable, stuff like that. And I figured this would be the best set to run. However, you could probably run Thunder somewhere. You could run Thunder with Z, Electric. That would be able to get rid of Pex and Celesteela. So you could definitely put Thunder on here and then, go Electrium Z. But the reason I didn't put that set in as opposed to the first 3 moves is because I figured Z Dark could also get rid of Pex and stuff like that. Definitely still a good bait for killing off some of these Pokemon, but I don't think it's like as good as the other options. But definitely has its way on some teams. I feel like if this Pokemon was used in OU, Darkrai was legal, we would definitely see some Thunder type shit with Electrium Z. But in general, that was the cool thing I realized with Darkrai. All of its like Nasty Plot, Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, Thunder, and Sludge Bomb are probably like its best 5 like moves. Of course, you can only pick 3 of the attacking moves, but it can basically use like 3 or 4 Z moves, which is really great. So let's hop into the next set. I put Scarf here, so I figured Scarf would be pretty decent as well, just because Darkrai has an insane speed tier. It's very, very fast. It's even faster than Scarf Greninja. So basically, it's the same set as the last one, except Nasty Plot turned into Trick, because you need something to cripple possible switch-ins. Not too bad, honestly. This set, I feel like, because again, Darkrai is still pretty strong. Dark Pulse is a good stab move. It has good coverage options. Sludge Bomb I only put because maybe you want to revenge kill Coco, which is still faster than you. Of course not, because you have the Scarf, but you could lure in and probably OHKO Coco with Sludge Bomb. I bet you don't even need rocks to one-hit KO Coco, because that thing's Spadef is pretty trash and Darkrai is very strong. But you're also able to check Lele, stuff like that. I even think that you can put Thunderbolt over Focus Blast if you want, just so that you can snipe Gyarados and stuff like that. In this metagame specifically, I would probably run Scarf Darkrai with Thunderbolt, just because everybody and their mom runs Gyaro right now. And that wouldn't be bad, but, you know, you always do want Focus Blast to hit Tyranitar, Heat Trance, and all that good stuff. But Scarf in general seemed really promising to me when I was thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, it's just a good revenge killer in general. Let me look at some of the Pokemon at OU. You can see a lot of the stuff that it would be able to handle that it couldn't normally. Like Alakazam is able to handle. The special attack is very good, so Dark Pulse in general probably does more than 50% to a lot of Pokemon. Like Charizard X, for example, is taking more than 50%. You're able to get rid of that thing. And Dark Pulse in general, this is like what differentiates this from Greninja in a sense. While it is weaker, I mean, this thing is inferior to Ash Greninja. That's plain and simple. It kind of is inferior to Ash Greninja. However, you need to evolve Ash Greninja, which can be difficult in some matchups. Like versus Stall, you're never going to get evolved. You're like Ash Gren is never going to become Ash Gren versus Stall, and if it does, your opponent really messed up. But Darkrai with Nasty Plot can obliterate Stall. Darkrai with Trick can also be pretty decent versus Stall, even more so than Greninja, because it's usually not going to evolve versus Stall. So that's where it shines versus the, you know, bulkier teams, I guess. But in general, this thing is not too bad. Even though it doesn't have a boosting item like Z or Life Orb. But then I also figured we could run this set, Psychium Z. Now, everybody knows that Dark Void unfortunately got nerfed this generation. They did not want this thing having 80% sleep, sleeping all the Pokemon, and setting up and sweeping. I understand, because that shit used to be really annoying. So they nerfed Dark Void to 50%. The only reason I'm including this Hypnosis set is because they keep giving it to me in Battle Factory, to the point where, like, I'm almost convinced that it might be decent. And something that I mean, we would definitely see in the metagame. People would attempt to use this set. So I believe Psychium Z with the Hypnosis lets you get +1 speed or something like that, whatever. It's some sleep move plus the Z Crystal gives you +1 speed, and you put the Pokemon to sleep. And Darkrai's ability, as we all know, Bad Dreams, that allows you to steal 1/8 of their max HP each turn they're asleep, which is a lot of chip. That's like 12.5%. That's a lot of chip. So you put something to sleep, then you take some of its HP, then you get a free turn to Nasty Plot. You take another 12.5%. And now that thing is just going to die to your +2 attack and your +1 speed. In general, I think this thing could be an insane sweeper. I've swept many Battle Factory Ubers teams with this set. I don't see why the same case couldn't be in OU. Oh wait, actually I do, because there's way too many counters in OU. There's no 2 moves that you really want for your coverage. If you go Focus Blast, then you're going to get walled by Fairy types. If you go Sludge Bomb, you're going to get walled by Magearna, T-Tar, all that shit. So it's tough. In theory, yeah, you can Hypnosis and eliminate the counter, but you got to be smart. This set obviously takes a lot to pull off. And oftentimes I feel like Nasty Plot with webs would probably be better than Hypnosis Z. But this set definitely has the chance to win. You can never count this set out. This thing could definitely win. Darkrai's bulky enough to live most priority attacks. So, you know, hey, this set's probably a hit. This set is probably a smash. Definitely worth looking into. But we'll see. We'll see. And then what else do we got here? The last one I put was just Specs. Similar to Scarf, I figured Specs would be good because Dark Pulse is just a great attacking move in general. This is similar to Ash Gren and I guess Specs Hoopa. It's not as strong as Hoopa, and it's not. It doesn't have the what's it called, the potential that Greninja has, I guess. But it does have access to Trick. It is better than Greninja before Greninja evolves, and it can probably do more damage long term to stuff like Celesteela and Toxapex. You'll probably have a greater chance of breaking through Celesteela and Pex with something like Darkrai. Just because of its higher special attack rate. Because yeah, regular Gren's special attack is what, like 100 base, so there's quite a difference between this thing and Darkrai. But altogether, these are the 4 sets that I figured would be the best in the metagame. Looking at OU, where would I rank this thing? I mean, most of the Pokemon here would lose 1v1 to Darkrai, which is pretty interesting. But again, this thing is not some bulky tank like most Ubers. Kartana Sacred Sword's going to kill it off. Draco Meteor from any whatever dragon is going to knock this shit out. Stuff like Komodo walls it, but that thing is the GOAT, man. Obviously it walls. Landers can threaten it out with U-turns. You know, Lopunny's faster. Magearna on every team. That thing is a big threat. I think Darkrai is definitely not broken. I mean, okay, I can't make that claim that it's definitely not broken, but I think it is well worth a test in our metagame. I don't see why we haven't tested it yet. It just seems like the Pokemon that, definitely could stick around. More often than not, a Pokemon like this is usually broken. I understand why it's banned, but I mean, I feel like we have the tools right now for this thing to not be as big of a threat as it probably was 2 or 3 years ago. Even just the way the meta looks right now, I can't see this thing 6-0ing every team. I mean, every team is like fucking Coco, Lucha, Rain, and stuff like that. Like, how's Darkrai beating Rain? Swampert gonna blow this shit away. How's it beating Coco, Lucha? Both those, like, you know what I mean? In general, I feel like Darkrai is not like some destroyer of the metagame, and if they drop it down right now, it's going to like obliterate the metagame. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it has a lot of decent checks and counters. I mean, even shit like AV Tangrowth, you know, that thing can come in, check it, Giga Drain here. This thing doesn't even have viable recovery or anything like that. Like, it's, yeah, it's like a Blacephalon or something on like a little more bulk, but that's about it. Like, it's not even as strong as a lot of these other Pokemon that we see. Like, stuff like Tapu Lele is on the same strength level. Stuff like Blacephalon is obviously stronger. Ashgren is stronger. We got stuff like Mawile and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like they could bring this thing back. I don't think it would be too broken. I would definitely test it out a lot. I feel like if I were to play with it, my most used sets would be Nasty Plot and probably Choiced. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Darkrai. If you guys think this thing would be good in OU. I mean, I think it'd be great in OU, and I think it wouldn't be that broken. But let me know below what you guys think. I'll catch you next time. Peace.